Hey, Shalom Akim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakadash, double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Gripstone Rule Well. This is Brother Menashe DC Camp with short lesson to edify the hopeful elect. Alright, so this time we're getting into is going to be really, really serious. This time of Jacob's trouble is really going to be serious. So just, be prepared spiritually, because you already know it's going to be a time of trials, right? There's a time our faith is going to be tested, right? The boldness for the name of the Lord Yahushai is going to be tested, and that's a time we're coming into, all right? And that's something you should always keep in mind, because it's very, very important, all right? Because it's part of your journey, all right? It's part of your responsibility to be prepared, all right, for the difficulties of doing the work of being a witness unto the end. So this is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 8. It says, Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. All right? And that's what we have to expect. All right? A reward for standing stiffly, all right, for the name of the Lord Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kadash. All right? And it's really, really important, all right? Because brothers in the camp are gonna get tested, man. If you think you're really cool with a brother, spiritually, the Lord will put that, friendship, all right, must well put that brotherhood to the test. Yeah, so that's the time we're coming into, man. The brotherhood, the bond between the brotherhood will be tested, all right. So it's really, really important, to be aware of that, because that's the time, we are coming into, right? So it's really, really important you don't lose sight of that, as you do the work, you just have to make sure that, whatever lesson the Lord Yahweh Shai puts before you, you take a look at it intently, all right? Because it's very, very important that you stay sober-minded, and you hold on to what is so necessary. God already knows you can't keep all the laws. All right, so you just gotta have faith. All right, so by you having faith in the Lord, about Shema Shai, the brotherhood will be fine. You don't have to worry, about all these adversities that comes around. But it's gonna come a time when brothers, will be in a tight spot, and if your faith is gonna be tested, man. Just like the prophet Elijah, also known as John the Baptist, his faith got tested when it was at that point in his life, was facing execution. So you just have to understand, you never know when you're gonna be put in a tight situation in these last days. That, it's gonna take a toll on your mind, but you just have to understand, you just have to pray to the Lord Yahushua to tighten your mind, tighten the screws. Yeah, because this is the time, the Lord Shema Shah has been preparing us for. All right, because Lord already knows you're not perfect. All right, so don't try to don't try to think that your ground is really stable. Until you come out at the end. You just gotta pray and have faith that the Lord Shema Shah have mercy on you. All right, so verse 9 says, Ye that fear the Lord hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy. All right, so that's what you also need to, bring out to the brotherhood, express the joy of the Lord, this knowledge that's been given to you, because it's a rare, right? It's a rare commodity. A lot of people think they got it, but they don't. All right, so you should count yourself blessed for having this knowledge. All right, and the Lord has always said, you gotta be purified. You gotta be, you gotta go through that test. All right, you gotta go through that persecution. You have to go through that, that straight gate. All right? It's really, really necessary. Because by you going through that, you're basically purging your mind of weakness. They say pain is basically weakness leaving the body, and that's exactly what persecution is. Your trials and your so-called tribulation, that's what it is. So you can become a perfect brother. All right. So you may stumble here and there, but don't give up. You gotta push, man. You gotta push. You're still in the flesh, but you gotta strive towards the spirit. All right. So I'm gonna get another precept. It's gonna be from the book of Sirach, chapter 6 and verse 6. It says, start with verse 7. Alright, so this says, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. Alright, meaning you shouldn't get too excited, man, to just jump on the bandwagon, about what you hear about, about what you hear about people. Even in the world, you just gotta, watch your step, You just have to learn to examine things. We all gotta go through a test. So you just have to let situations, come out, and just let it play out and see how brother handles it. Because that's how you know who brothers are in the last end, man. Alright, but how they handle certain situations, how they apply the scriptures, and and what they do when they're faced with adversity. Alright, that's a true test of friendship, because adversity, is gonna come at different times. So if a brother's comes out of it, comes out stronger, wiser, is able to share, his experience. That's what it basically called trials. To try out. When he's able to share his experiences and brothers are able to benefit from it, that means he's on the path to becoming a true brother. All right. So verse 8 says, for some man is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of thy trouble. All right. So there are different levels of friendship. Okay. So that's why it's really necessary, you be sober when you're around, these people that you really call your friend, because they have to be tried out. When you're in the jam, when you in that tight spot, spiritually, even in the world, you just have to understand, what the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah has said about, having a friend, having the brotherhood. Because it's really, really important you keep that in mind, all right? And then it says, in verse 9, and there is a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. And that's exactly what you see. When you have fallouts on different camps, brothers start, going at each other. Yeah, it's just, it's just a headache. Folks didn't do what they are supposed to do, and now the trouble becomes bigger. So you just gotta pray the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai puts your mind, to task to make sure things get tightened down. Because at the end of the day, it's not gonna be a one brother to run the whole show. It's gonna be a company of brothers to help with the ministry. All right, and whosoever is not willing, all right, to help, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is gonna cast that person away. All right, so that's how the Lord's gonna test brotherhoods. All right, because it talks about the different offices. So all the offices have to be working, seamlessly, without glitches. All right, without all that tackiness. All right, because it's really, really necessary that we understand that the body of Yahweh Shai does not need any, schisms in it. All right, and those that get purged out, they weren't meant to be there anyway. All right, they're just there as an example of how not to be. All right, so that's the time we're really coming into. you're gonna see, the what Lord Yahushua talked about, about betrayals, just like how, Judas took the purse to betray the Lord. He gave up the Lord's location and his so-called identity when it was time for them to raid, the enemies to raid the camp. Yeah, so just be aware, man, that mindset still exists in Israel. So you gotta pray that the Lord Yahushua, is with you and he guides you away from harboring bitter sentiments towards brother. Because the Lord already said you have to learn to forgive, okay? Then it says, verse 10, Surah chapter 6 verse 10, again, some friend is a companion at a table and will not continue in the day of their affliction. All right, in the day of their affliction. Yeah, so, this time coming into, man, is basically a weeding process, man. It's going to be a weeding process. All right? Even if a brother stands with you, one Hebrew is going through it and he gives up and he takes the chip, he failed the test, because you need a brother that would be able to, support you, by his actions, just like, the old man Eleazar during the time of in the time of Alexander, the times of the Greeks, in the book of Maccabees, that he chose not to go along, with the Greeks, recommendations. That's what a true brother, needs to stick by. That's the standard, all right? So another precept is going to be from the book of Luke, chapter 11. If I can get on 12, I'm just going to get to 11. All right, so let's see. It's like, if I couldn't get on 11, I get on 12, all right? So just bear with me. So it's going to be Luke chapter 11, verse 5. All right, it says, and he, let me stop and he said unto them, this is what Yahushua said, which of you shall have a friend, and shall go unto him at midnight, and say unto him, friend, lend me 3 loaves. All right. Then it says, for a friend of mine in his journey is come to me, and I have nothing to set before him. Yeah, because it says every brother in this truth is not gonna be as sharp as the next brother. Every brother has his own lot, but certain things need to be had. Certain breakdowns will be important for brothers to have, and that's exactly what we're dealing with. When it comes to this 3 loaves, it's basically what brothers need, man. Someone might come to you, they're gonna ask you a question. Just say, give me some moment. Let me check it out. Let me consult, with the top brothers, and that's exactly what's going on. Because every brother doesn't really have the level of knowledge that the next brother has. Some have more, some have less, but nonetheless, they're still sincere. All right. And then when you have a newcomer, a novice, asking you questions and all that, you ask her, and the brother might not have enough time to explain it, but as long as he's given the basic, brother can build on that, right? So it says, and he from within shall answer and say, trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed. I cannot rise and give thee. All right. So when you have that so-called famine of the word, you still the brothers are still gonna get the knowledge. All right, but it's just that it's gonna be tight. To make time to to sit down with brothers. All right. Lord willing, it doesn't get too tight. All right. So it says, I say unto you, though he will not rise and give him, because he is his friend, Yet, because of his importunity, he will rise and give him as many as he needed. All right, so brothers could get, the notes on paper and the videos and all that, just like what the apostles have loaded up. That's basically what it's talking about, give you a whole, CD, a whole DVD, a whole USB of breakdowns and all that stuff. And the brother is set, all right? That's basically what it's all about. It's about sharing, okay, giving to brothers that are in a tight spot, especially when they don't have certain breakdowns of these scriptures, certain prophecies or certain proverbs, all right? So I'm going to get another precept here. It's going to be from the book of Romans chapter 14. All right, so this is verse 1. It says, "He that is weak in the faith receive you, but not to that full disputations." All right, so you just got to make sure that, whatever's going to bring up disputations, don't make it the main topic, just stick with what's necessary, okay? So every brother is not really prepared, for certain breakdowns of prophecies, of certain breakdowns of parables, So it's always important, you just stick with the simple stuff, and then that's enough. All right. It's really, really, really important, you don't complicate matters. All right, because you don't want to waste time going back and forth. All right. So another precept is going to be from the book of Galatians chapter 6 verses 1 and 2. It says, "Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted." All right. And it says in verse 2, "Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Hamashiach Yahushai." All right, that's exactly what you just read in Romans chapter 14. Even in Luke 11 from 5 to 9, it's about bearing each other's burden. One hand helps the other, one member helps the other member, so the body could work efficiently, okay? And then, it's not if you're going to blame the leg, blame the arm, blame the kidneys, blame the eyes, blame the ears, blame the mouth, blame the head. It's not the time we're in now, man. We're in a time of putting aside all that stumbling blocks and stick what's really necessary, man, And then a final precept will be from the book of John, chapter 15. I'm going to start from verse 13. It says, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if you do whatsoever I command you." All right, this is what Yahushua was telling his apostles. All right, and the same message we need to adhere to. It's that simple. If you do what the Lord, commands you to do, it means you're on that path, to qualify as a friend. Okay, then it says in verse 15, "Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what the Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you." All right, and that's a beautiful thing. You need to be aware of, man, that what the Lord Yahushai had received of the Lord, He used His Holy Spirit, all right, to let us have access to it. Okay. And that's why brothers are bringing out, beautiful, beautiful lessons here and there to edify the body. Yeah, because the body needs to be fed. All right. So there's no such thing as brothers sitting down on knowledge. They all bringing up something. All right, so that was the point there, Akim. It's one big family. The family has to be tightened up. The family's gonna go through, tough times. And that's what it is. Just like you had a story about the prodigal son and all that. Yeah, it's family matters. It's gonna be, the family is gonna be tested. All right, the brotherhood is gonna be tested. Even the sisters too are gonna get tested. So don't get upset. When you're going through a trial. Just pray the Lord that Shimashai keeps your mind stable, and you don't get distracted. You don't miss the lesson of the experience, because that's really what counts. All right. So that's about it, Akim. So you've been edified, and till then, Shalom.